Hello, and welcome back to the Games Embassy with the Ambassadors of Gaming. I am one in your army of hosts, Ambassador Michael,
And I am Ambassador Jordan.
and welcome to our corner of the internet, where we have news about stuff. Jordan, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm not too bad other than the heat right now. I'd say it's a rare occasion in Scotland for it to ever be this hot or even hot in
Right.
any way. So it's been quite an emotional day. Just burning away. But
I
other than that, I'm
understand
pretty
that.
good.
I basically live in on Satan's ass in Florida, so I totally understand.
That ass.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I live in the swamp ass of the South. Anyways, Chris is not here with us because he had a scheduling issue, and so it will just be Jordan and I. I thought that would be a nice little treat because we haven't done a one-on-one in a little while. So,
Definitely not
but
online.
yeah, no, that's like in general, we just don't do them as much anymore. We're trying to become a 3-4 person team, you know. So, but sometimes it's nice to go back to your roots, you know.
Definitely.
So, anyways, let's get to the part where I ask you for money. So, we have a nice Patreon where you can get some cool perks and goodies like early access to the shows, getting your comments, questions, and or concerns read on the show or shows, and exclusive content. If you would like to support the show, you can get some goodies over at our Patreon at patreon.com/ambassadors of gaming. Just a heads up for those who may be interested on free feeds, we are doing a new show format that's supposed to go out like once a month. So that will be interesting. If you want early access, you can get it on Patreon. Otherwise, you have to wait a whole month. So, anyways, let's get right into the updates, announcements, and other miscellaneous news.
Me too. To start off the news today, we've got information about Mortal Kombat 11's DLC roster leak. So players will be receiving might correct. I may get some of these wrong, so apologies
Oh,
if
that's
I
fine.
do. So first off, we've got Shang Tsung, Nightwolf, Terminator T800 with a current looking Arnold, which will not be voiced by him, which is upsetting, but it is what
Yeah.
it is. We've got Sindel, Joker, who looks quite suspect, and then
Yeah.
Spawn. So it's quite a decent list of characters there, I'd say. And yeah, I think the look of the Joker was quite strange, but also the look of the Terminator, on the other hand, is quite nice that they're making it look like the current looking Arnold. I think it's from the next movie, is it? Like
Yeah, I
that's
think
what look and
they're
feel like.
pushing that hard because there's what the Gears promotion,
Yeah, I
and then
noticed that.
there's something else too. I think they're pushing it pretty hard. Um, because I don't. That's really a push to like people my age and your age and like a little bit older.
Yeah,
Um, so like younger people don't really know what Terminator is, you know. So it seems to make sense.
yeah. I think some of the past few movies. I think the latest one done a lot better than the previous before that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably just trying to, like you're saying, get as much exposure as possible to it before it's actually getting launched. But it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And
Right.
then
I
just oh,
go ahead.
sorry, I was just say touching on that, these characters will be released throughout the remainder of the year, with Spawn coming last on March 17th, which will be just in branching on to the next year. But yeah, that's a decent lineup, I guess,
Yeah.
with characters getting dribbled out. But be interesting to see if anything else comes from that. Any other characters down the line following this batch.
Yeah, I don't think they generally NetherRealm doesn't do a second batch of characters. I wish they would. They did the same thing with Injustice too. They just did the DLC pack and that was it. Like they were done, and then they moved on to Mortal Kombat 11. What I thought was weird, somebody mentioned the Joker thing. There's that Joker movie that's coming out this year, so maybe it's to kind of promote that. But they didn't use the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. They just made like a whole new Joker, and this is like the third Joker design that they've
Yeah, I
made.
saw some memes online about the Joker and his look, and it's
Yeah,
interesting.
it looks like the an adult film parody, some will say.
Yeah,
So
the resemblance was uncanny, and it
it
hurt.
really was. Why? Like, why did they design him that way? It's so weird because I thought the Joker, the default look in Injustice 2 was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say, like, surely you thought they would just reuse that? Like,
yeah, I thought so too. I thought it was gonna try to be like a crossover thing, but I guess
they're
not.
probably right in what you're saying. Like, they maybe just went for a new look to differentiate it, and so people aren't just like, "Oh, you've just taken him from the last game. Why is he
Yeah, I
the exact
guess.
same?"
Yeah, they'd say they're lazy. They definitely would
Like,
say they're lazy if they did that.
yeah, so there's no
100%.
winning, I guess.
Yeah, too true. Anyways, So let's go more into Nintendo leaks because that's their favorite thing to do. Uh, so 22 SNES games have been data mined. While no official announcement has been made, but given the recent leaks of the SNES controller, combined with this leak, we may see an official announcement. Highlights include A Link to the Past, Star Fox 2, which was previously only released on the SNES Classic here in the West, and then Super Mario World 1 and 2, and F Zero. Obviously, there's 22 games total. Those are just some of the ones that are most recognizable. So it seems imminent at this point.
Yeah, it's quite like the ones that you listed are pretty good. It's nice to see some of these games, like even though they've been on I think the classic mini consoles and probably on other online stores or virtual consoles, but it's still nice to be able to play them on the Switch,
Right.
especially Star Fox 2, considering that was never released in. Well, don't think it was released outside of Japan, if I'm
Yeah,
correct.
they told us that it wasn't released outside of Japan except for the SNES Mini.
Yeah, so I think that's
So
still quite nice because I've still not got around to buying an SNES Mini. I
right,
really want to, but at the same time, it's like I still have a working SNES, so I don't
right, no
know.
real reason to then at that point outside of the HDMI, I assume.
Yeah, because even with the setup I've got like a connector. I can pretty much just plug in all the old connectors into that,
Ah,
and it converts it into HDMI, and then I can just use it on any TV anyway. Obviously, there's still some. Well, I wouldn't say issues. It still kind of displays a bit weird, but it plays
right.
fine. And it does the job. So yeah, it's hard to justify at the moment, but I probably will because I'm a fanboy of Nintendo and I can't
Fair
help
enough.
myself. But to move on from that point on to the next one, there's been some tasty news over at Riot Games, which they have been set on the lawsuit over sexual harassment and gender discrimination. So there's been quite a bit of controversy there.
Yeah.
I think,
They're I bet they're pleased to be moving on from this. I know we didn't go over it in huge detail on this point, but basically they put in a settlement offer with the court and with the I believe it was all women that had sued them regarding this. And they're just waiting on clarification from the court and the judge to be like, yeah, okay, this is fine. Um, they've solved it outside of litigation, which was the big complaint. I don't. You and I had discussed you hadn't really followed it 100%. So the short version was is that basically Riot had this clause that you wouldn't go to actual court. You would just privately mediate. So it would be way less likely that you win your lawsuit. Was basically the point. That was the reason why they
okay.
did it. It was some scummy shit. Um, and so, I'm glad that that's over with, but I also hope that they actually learn their lesson. They actually do something about this. Um, like I said, we've beaten this topic in pretty in depth and to death on this show, but I figured we should, since we reported on it while it was open and hot, we should report on it when it is cold and closed.
I definitely agree.
All right. Do you have anything to say on that before we go? I know we haven't really discussed it outside of just before the show, so I don't know if you had any thoughts.
Guess if there's any more information you want to dig into about the whole situation, if there's anything you'd like to highlight, which you think is like kind of a big issue, or what you think is good that's getting resolved, things like that. If there's
Yeah,
anything.
the big thing is policy. I don't know how it is in the UK, but basically in the US, you can pretty much get away with anything as long as you sign a policy for it or like you sign an agreement.
That's
Um,
mental.
yeah, it's crazy. So like, don't get me wrong, there's like some protections, but if you sign whatever, I don't know. Like we do unpaid internships here. That's like a thing. You just work for free with a verbal contract. No actual contract, no signatures. You just start working for somebody one day and you just don't get paid. Like so like all sorts of stuff like that is like insane here. But um
Yeah, I've seen
I'm
some similar stuff in like the UK and that. Well, not probably to the same extent, just like
mhm,
minor similarities. Like I've encountered it myself before, and yeah, that stuff's a pain in the arse.
right.
And
So
no wonder why
it's
people try and get away with shady shit.
exactly. It's just one of those things where it's like old business practices are not able to go on as long as they used to, because we're just more privy to that, and I think our generation is just smarter about dealing with that kind of stuff, making sure we're not getting screwed.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so I'm glad that it's over with, but I will be more happy if they actually learn something. The
I
the
agree with
last
that.
thing was the California thing. They're getting sued or not sued, but they're no, actually they are getting sued because they refused information to. Like they're doing an investigation. One of the departments is doing an investigation into Riot because of this, and they had to sue to get the documents they need or whatever. So, so that's a whole other thing. It's still the same topic, but it's a whole other issue in and of itself.
It sounds
So
so messy.
it
Why do
is.
they get themselves into these situations? Why not just not fucking do that stuff? Like, you
I don't
think
know.
it'd be that easy to just not
Right. Not be a
condone
piece of
it?
shit.
Yeah,
Just
it's like
cut
just
out the
stop being a
middleman.
piece of shit and just like not even learning from their lesson. Like I hope they do this time, but it's like just don't do it in the first place. It's like come on,
Right. One of
it's
the
just
big
mental.
things that they were bad about was that the people that basically the main what's the word I'm looking for? The main people that were accused of enacting this behavior are like higher ups and they still have their jobs. And so that was one of the things where people are like, I don't know if you really learned your lesson if you're going to let them stay, you know. But
Yeah,
I
you
also
think.
don't know employment laws. So,
Yeah, I guess it depends, like you're saying. If there's stuff signed and they can get away with other
right.
things, I'm pretty sure they'll probably find a way to keep these people employed, which I don't necessarily agree with. Obviously, case or like
Case by
situation
case basis,
dependent.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
And in
still
this
pretty
case,
shady when it's probably like the higher ups. Not even well, the higher up staff will probably just get a slap on the wrist, whereas the people below them will just continue to get shot on.
yeah,
Or
pretty much.
yeah, like it might not be the same extent or the same type of shitting getting done, but it's still going to happen to an extent. It's just a shame.
Right. Agreed, unfortunately. So, but let's move on to happier news.
It's,
So we got announcements and release dates. Again, if you're unfamiliar, we just slapped these things together now because we didn't want to take up too much time. So, in one of the least surprising things to come to fruition since the leaks, Ori and the Blind Forest is indeed coming to Nintendo Switch, September 27th. In America, I'm not sure if that was the Gamescom announcement. So I assume in Europe as well.
yeah,
Um,
I think it's. I need to double check. But yeah,
should be a
I'm looking
global
forward to that.
release. Yeah, it's gonna be really good on Switch. Real quick,
Seems like
some
the perfect
facts.
game.
Yeah, well, that's where I was going with it too. Actually, is that they actually did a good job porting it. Apparently, it runs 1080 60 frames docked and 720 60 frame in the handheld, which most games can't even hit 720 handheld. Period. So
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty. Like I've only played a little bit of on the Xbox, so I'm not like a massive fan of it, so to speak. Like I really liked what I played, and I still want to play it. And like I think I might even just buy it on the Switch instead of playing it on the Xbox.
yeah, I
Just
would
as like
definitely recommend that if that's what you if you haven't played all the way through it. I played all the way through it because I got enamored by it. Um, it's really good.
yeah, I've only had like a few short bursts of playing it, like nothing mental, like not enough time to actually get like engaged by it,
Right,
unfortunately. But that's why I'm thinking it's like I might just keep it for the Switch because like the games like that on the Switch just play so well. It's the perfect type of game you can just pick up and I'm
right,
not even doing short bursts, but it's like even some of the other games like I've got on Xbox and Switch, like Hollow Knight in that. I think they're just perfect for the
right,
Switch.
right. Agreed. Those smaller like platforming kind of games. Um, are real good. I wouldn't say Ori's a platformer, but it definitely utilizes platforming.
Yeah,
Um,
is it the type of like Metroidvania style game or is it a bit different?
kind of.
So
It's
yeah,
kind of Metroidy, but it's more of like it's all set. Everything is set. There's no randomization, but it is very reminiscent of like original Metroid. In terms of like, okay, you have to get these power ups before you can go here. Now you have these power ups, you can go back here and get these things or whatever,
yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, I would say it's pretty close to Metroid, for sure. So it's I don't know. It's I thought it was very very good. It's long, longer than most platformers. I feel like it's probably like I'd say 6 to 8 hours if you're really like going back and getting stuff. So it's
That's not
pretty
too bad
meaty.
then.
No, it's pretty good and it's beautiful. So
Yeah, the graphics don't look insane. I think it would look even nice. Well, not necessarily nicer. I just think it would look nice on a compact device.
right, aesthetically speaking, it looks nice
Yeah,
on the Switch. Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
it's like it reminds me like total different game, but I've been playing Guacamelee too on
Oh,
the
okay.
Xbox, and I think that's kind of like a similar to me. Like, it's like kind of a like similar style, not like graphics, but just gameplay. I think that'd be another type
Right,
of game that'd be perfect for the Switch. Not that I wanted to see tons of games get ported to it, but at the same time, probably do.
right. So some of them actually really fit well on Switch. So we had another one in here that actually got announced for Switch, that we'll talk about here in a second. and I think that's gonna be a good fit too.
But moving on to the next bit of taste information about some of the games that are getting released. We've got a few new games coming to Game Pass, and
Mhm.
they are as follows. So arriving to console, we've got Devil May Cry 5, Stellaris, and arriving to console and PC, we've got Blair Witch, Kingdom Come Deliverance, arriving on the PC, we've got Age of Empires Definitive Edition and Ape Out. So I think there's quite like a decent variety of games coming to Game Pass. Like it's all like not to Obama up, but I think it's like it is generally consistently improving. Like the variety you're getting.
Yeah.
It's like to have like having Devil May Cry 5 on it. I say that's pretty good considering it's not that new. Still, like it's kind of gone. Like I just bought it not long ago, I guess. Well, I say not long ago, a good few
It's
months.
yeah, it's been 4 months since it came out, I think, because it came out in, like, February and March.
And it's
So
kind of
it's not
making
even
more.
old, like, at all.
Yeah, it makes me hopeful though for like other Capcom games to potentially come to the Game Pass as well. Like even
Yeah,
on release, maybe one day that might not be possible, but could keep my
right.
fingers crossed. Like imagine like even more Resident Evil games. Like I think at the moment there's already quite a
4 and
few.
5, right? But 6
Yeah,
is not.
yeah. I don't know if it was at some point. If not, it was maybe through Games with Gold that I got it. But I know 4
Yeah.
and 5 are on it, which is
Yeah,
great.
for sure.
And I think even having more, like even Resident Evil 7 and a few others, that'd be pretty good. And
Yeah,
then
Resident Evil 7 would be a big catch, for sure.
first, Stellaris, I've not had a great deal of exposure to that. I'm pretty sure is that it's an RTS game, isn't it?
I have no idea. If I don't know its name, based off of all the stuff we do through ambassadors, I'm probably not playing it. So it's
No,
outside
okay.
of my wheelhouse. So I have no idea. I might check it out though because it's on Game Pass. I usually try to at least look through everything on Game Pass just to
Yeah.
see. So
I've been trying to like have a good scan through, and the one like off topic, but the one thing I've kind of noticed, and I might be wrong, but I just don't feel there's much horror games on Game Pass right now, like the horror genre. It feels like
yeah.
it's really lacking in that aspect. Like,
Do
there
you
is some.
do you think that maybe that's because of like the rating sport stuff?
That's what I
Because
was going to say. It's probably
yeah,
because like not right, the majority of people probably will be a younger audience, and that might be why. But still, it's kind of
right,
upsetting. I wish there was like even if it was done through age, not verification, just that if you had an account and they could tell you, like, they could see your age for that, you would get
right.
exposure to these games. But it'd be nice to see more, like, even just like older games, like even some of the Dead Space games. I know they're backwards
Yeah.
compatible on that, but just stuff like that, I think would be quite
Yeah, that
nice.
would be great. Because I think they gave Dead Space 1 and 2 away at some point recently, like, within the
Yeah.
last couple of years on Games with Gold. Because that's how I played Dead Space, the first one, um,
Yeah.
and I loved it. I thought I didn't re like, I never played it because I had, like, gotten rid of my 360 when it came out, um,
Okay.
so I never ended up picking it up. So but yeah, that game is brilliant. But I definitely agree. Blair Witch
Yeah.
comes day 1 though, so that's pretty good.
So that was going to be my next question. Was like the new game, and that's
Yes.
actually really good that it is because see, I don't want to get into the habit of just relying on Game Pass for my new games, but I can tell it's going to happen with a few of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gears 5 and Blair Witch probably being 1 or 2 even.
I feel
But,
like Game Pass is like a, a little bit safer of a bet than games with gold or whatever,
yeah,
because they did that with Rocket League. Like, when Rocket League launched, they launched free on PlayStation Plus for the first month. Um, so I think it's just a matter of like, my assumption would be, okay, we're gonna make a shitload of money off of Game Pass in the first month and just eat the sales loss. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think even
So
from my perspective, like, see, like, for example, Blair Witch, if that's, like, a total amazing game, I'll probably still buy it anyway, just to own and just to
sure,
keep. So it's like, I mean, it's almost like you can treat it like not a demo, but it's like you are getting to try before you buy it if you're still that
for sure,
inclined that way.
for sure.
I think even
Um,
moving
And
on to like,
Blade that one's cheap. I think it's like $30 or something, or 40 launch. So it's not like like AAA expensive. So
that's pretty good then. I was expecting it to be like a AAA price, but be nice. Well,
yeah,
I'm definitely going to get it through Game Pass, I think, because it reminds me of Outlast, and it took me a while. I wouldn't say it took me a while to complete Outlast one. It took me a while to get not the courage, but like the balls to get into it and
yeah,
actually force myself through it.
not get
And
nervous. Yeah, I
yeah, I'm
feel that.
still at the start of Outlast 2, not done the DLC, and I have a feeling like that's what would put me off of buying Blair Witch, as silly as it sounds. Like I wouldn't want to buy it and then struggle to play it because of being a pussy. But I'm hoping that
Yeah.
I'll get it on Game Pass and I'll just sit down one night and just sesh it because I want. There's no worries about, oh, I spent 40 quid on the game and I can't play it because I'm a gimp.
Right. I understand that. That was how I felt about RE7 because I played it in VR when it first came out, and I made it. How far in RE7 have you played? Did you beat it?
Yeah, I've beat
Okay.
it on the Xbox and I'm playing it on VR. Well, I say playing it on VR just now. I've got it on VR and I have started playing it. It's just that I'm
Right.
not got all the way through on VR yet, but oh, VR was
I
just terrifying.
Yeah, I made it to the stairwells, like at the very beginning, that stairwell scene, and I was like, nope, I quit VR here. And I took the headset off and I stopped playing it because I knew it was coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's down
Uh,
to it. Like if you even if you played it fully and you still know what's coming, you still get a fright. I think there's like
yeah, it's terrifying, honestly.
see, well, you got further than me than the first time. Like, see, when I first played it, I was like, before you even go into the house in the garden, I was just standing in the yard looking at the door open, and I was like, oh my god, I don't want to walk in there. I was like, I know nothing's waiting on me, but I don't want to
Right.
do it. And as silly as it sounds, I closed my eyes and just ran into the room.
Fair
It's
enough.
like, ah, but
Yeah,
it's
the
like
atmosphere in 7
yeah,
is great.
that's when you know it's
It's
working though. When it's like
right.
it can still make you feel that way.
Like, you're literally just scared of a door. Like,
Yeah,
I felt the same way, like, don't get me wrong. So, like, I've definitely been there where I'm like, "I'm definitely scared right now," you know? Nothing's
that's another
happened.
thing. Like because like I'd just done that section. Every time like I'd have a few like had mates coming around just to hang out on that, and I'd be like, oh, I should try this, try it on VR,
Mhm.
and I would know exactly what's coming, and I would just be waiting patiently to watch them shit themselves. And it was so good every time they did. But
It's yeah, RE7 is great, and then in VR, it is really great. I actually have a buddy of mine, Adam, he has a hard time playing it not in VR because of that opening section, with, oh, what's his name? Whatever, the guy that follows you around.
yeah,
Uh, without being able to peek around the corner in VR, he actually has, like, a really hard time playing the game because that was how he first played it. So, like,
okay.
he doesn't wanna play it without VR now, but he also hates that section, so anyways,
Yeah.
anything else on here you're looking at picking up? Kingdom Come, maybe?
I was just say Kingdom Come's a pretty interesting title to get brought to as well. Like I've been wanting to play it at first. I wasn't too sure. It was one of them games like I wasn't too sure if I wanted to invest like a large amount of money on just in case I didn't
Right,
enjoy it. But now that it's coming to Game Pass, it's pretty good because I'm going to get the chance to dig into it on
for
top
sure.
of my massive backlog. But that's probably the only ever one. I guess the other
Yeah,
titles on it I've not had a great deal of exposure to, and I'm not overly
right.
I'm digging into.
Fair enough. I already have DMC5, so I'm not gonna get that. I may eventually play Blair Witch, but I was leaving that for Daryl. Especially because Man of Medan comes out the same day, and I'm way more interested in that. No offense to the Blair Witch. Um, so maybe at some point I'll get to it. But anyways, let's get to the last announcement. So we covered this a little bit, I think, last week. Monster Rancher is officially coming to Switch in Japan. The first Rancher, we got an announcement that it was getting a port last week. Um, However, they didn't specify what platforms. Now they have it's coming to Switch, iOS, and Android. So the game will recreate its disc gimmick by creating a database that players can use over a network, over Wi-Fi, connecting online. And some new features will come as well, like two-player support with one set of Joy-Cons, and downloading and battling monsters by breeders all over Japan. So it has like a online multiplayer kind of aspect to it a little bit as well. I never played this game, but I heard good things about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never actually played it before myself. Thing is, like, I'm liking just seeing like on the highlights, like how they're trying to recreate certain aspects of the older game just for that nostalgic effect. That's pretty nice. I think
Right.
overall, is it?
I
It's
think
like it's not like a Pokemon S game, is it? Like where you're raising
kind
monsters
of,
and battling. I guess. Yeah.
kind of. But its whole gimmick was that when you wanted to get new monsters, or however you went about getting new monsters, you put in a new disc, and each disc had a specific monster tied to it. So like
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like I think they were somebody was telling me the Metal Gear Solid disc um gave you a monster that was like espionage related or something like that. He kind of looked like Snake was the point.
Yeah,
Um so
that's
like
pretty
they would
cool.
do cool stuff like that, yeah. So no release in the West yet though. So I'd be very interested to see if that comes here. I feel like it could do decent. It's a remaster, I think. A little bit of a remaster in terms of like, stretching it out to 1080 and that kind of
Yeah.
So
On the topic of remaster, not on the topic of this game, unfortunately, it just reminds me of a meme
sure.
I saw the other day. It's for the Final Fantasy VIII remaster, and it's like, remember how there's that picture that always
Oh
gets
yeah,
circulated online? It's like, you're the most like attractive person here, and it just zooms in on his face. And it's pixelated as fuck, and it's showing you the new one where it's like it
yeah,
zooms in, and he just looks so handsome. And
yeah.
it's
He
such a
does.
beautiful moment.
It's so
Honestly, like,
funny.
so I'm probably gonna have to get that, like that remaster. I think playing it on the Switch, I'm a total fanboy on the Switch for these games, but
Right,
it's just something so appetizing or appealing even about playing Final Fantasy VIII, just chilling even in the car or that.
right. I haven't played any of the old ones. The only ones I've played are 15 and 11, I think. I played like 5 minutes of 11 and I hated it. It was the MMO or whatever.
It's not
Uh,
the best one to get into.
yeah,
I'd say,
exactly.
like, not touching on the old ones because I guess some of the older, like, before, like, 7 upwards, some of them ones are
Right,
really good and definitely worth playing, but I'd say just like everyone else, probably like Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 are just, like,
right,
3 of the best, and it's, like, really good stories, lots of, like, it's even I don't know exactly, but there's just so much gameplay in it, like, there's so much to do after the main game,
right.
and it could just be, like, hunting for grinding enemies, getting, like, unlockable gear and stuff, and even just fighting some of the hidden bosses, and that's what makes those games so good, and I think it was Final Fantasy 8 where you can actually, like, fight summons to acquire them, and it's
That's
like
pretty
you
cool.
can totally miss these like certain summons in the game because you might not even fight them. And it's just stuff like that that I really liked about the game. Adds a lot of replayability and it just
Yeah,
makes
for
it hard to
sure.
pay attention. Yeah,
For
I was
sure.
really going off track, but I couldn't help but
No,
just
no.
that good boy there.
It's
But
relevant, I think, because we haven't really discussed it much since that was announced what at E3,
yeah,
I
I
think.
think so.
So yeah. But I know everybody's excited for that. I might give it a shot. I haven't, like I said, I haven't played any of the other ones, so I'm just basically waiting at this point to buy them on Switch. So at one day I'll get around to it.
Definitely be worth it. Then moving on from that topic and digging into the news, the first topic today we'll be covering is that Sony buys Insomniac Games. Earlier this week, Sony announced that the company has officially acquired Ratchet and Clank and the Spider-Man developers, along with some other games. And Sean Layden spoke about that acquisition, saying that Insomniac will retain their independence, but have access to talent and technology available to the rest of the worldwide studios. Layden said Sony has not looked into Sunset Overdrive and what to do with it. I was kind of wondering on that topic, like just before I move on,
Right.
it's quite an interesting one because obviously I played Sunset Overdrive on the Xbox, and I was kind of wondering if they would uphold releasing that multi-platform. I don't think they would. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with it, if anything does.
Right. I want to discuss it, but because it's going to be lengthy, I'll let you finish the rest of it,
And then
and
we'll
then we
back.
could just go straight into that. I'm totally fine with that.
That's no problem. Now, moving on to the next point, Layden mentions that Insomniac will continue to manage their franchise plans and their IP in the way that they see as best fit. Take this with a grain of salt, but there has also been rumors that Sony is gearing up to acquire other studios soon. To move back onto the topic I was touching on earlier that both Mike
Right.
and I want to discuss. So, Sunset Overdrive, what's your thoughts on that?
I would love Sunset Overdrive on PlayStation, but I believe how it worked out is that Insomniac owns Sunset Overdrive, the IP. But just like the Kingdoms of Amalur remaster thing, uh, Xbox or Microsoft owns the like distribution or publishing rights to the original one.
Yeah,
So basically, Sony can't do anything with it, from my understanding. The original game. Not that I think they even really care. Um,
yeah,
I don't see them wanting Insomniac to make Sunset Overdrive 2 anyways. Like, I think it's pretty clear they're gonna make a second Spider-Man game,
yeah,
um,
definitely.
and maybe a third one. Unrelated, but I thought something that might be interesting. Uh, we talked that there's been the whole Marvel Sony thing. If you're unaware, Sony doesn't own the game rights to Spider-Man, so I'm wondering if they've pissed off Marvel enough for them to do something about that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying Spider-Man 2 is gonna get canceled. That's not gonna happen. But I am curious to see if they let them make a third one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So I was wondering about that as well because like all they could have taken is they kind of start being iffy on other deals, and then that directly affects the game. And even like
Right.
Disney and Marvel might not like they could be like, yeah, we can get someone else to make it, but due to its success, I'm pretty sure Sony would want to do everything they can to
to keep it. Yeah.
keep it. Yeah, and the fact that Insomniac made the last one, so it'd be pretty upsetting if they did not get to work on the next,
Right.
based
They'd
on
have
like
to
these
scratch it,
issues.
scrap the whole thing that they're working on, just do it. They'd have to
Yeah,
make a basically make a whole new series, and at this point, it's not even worthwhile to do, honestly.
yeah, exactly.
Um, like all the and my assumption is that they're gonna take Spider-Man, take literally that map and just make it bigger. You know what I mean? And like expand out into different parts of New York, maybe
Yeah,
if it launches on PS5. If it launches on PS4, maybe just make a little bit bigger of a section. You know what I mean? Like a little bit across one of the bridges or something.
yeah,
Um,
it'd be interesting to see how they handle that. So I always wonder, like, how much more can you add to the map every time you bring out a new like game within the same universe or the same like
right,
storyline? Because you can't like well, you can drastically change it, but then that obviously has to be a very good reason in the story for that to happen. And sometimes like
right.
I just don't think that really works. Like I was in some of the older Spider-Man games. I can't remember if it was Web of Shadows, like, and that was basically where I don't know if it was Venom, but it was like some sort of I'll say alien symbiote was like taking over all like various of the main
Yeah,
characters. And it was like that worked quite well. Like they pretty much totally overhauled the entire map. But I think that's quite different because it was like quite a long time ago. Probably nobody was really paying attention, and
right.
I don't think there was consistency between the maps. Whereas in this Spider-Man series, I think it was like say for like you were saying, if it was a trilogy and it was all the same area, just slightly expanded upon, it might be weird. But then you can't really take them out of that area because that's where the game's based.
Right. I
Yeah,
mean, they could, but I
yeah,
mean, according to the rumors of what how powerful the PS5 is supposed to be, you theoretically could expand that pretty significantly. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But
It'd be good if they did. There'd be so much room for it. Now, even like the whole fast travel stuff, like that was just
right,
an option, but like that could be
you
used to take you to different cities
yeah,
or
you would
whatever.
definitely need it to get to the different boroughs at that point
Yeah,
because it'd be way too big. Um, I know some games have tried it before, but yeah, it's just one of those things where those maps, New York is just massive, so it's just one of those things where it's really, really hard to capture all of it, you know?
yeah,
So we just don't have the tech yet to make it look good and be massive. But anyways, so Sunset Overdrive, me probably maybe at some point get a sequel to it because Sony is very interested in um longevity of the IP. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, they also mentioned that they're very excited to make they're not very excited, but that Ratchet and Clank is like important to them as an IP, and
yeah.
they want more of them, from my understanding, based off of that. So,
I really
uh,
hope there is more. I just love Ratchet and Clank. It used to be one of my favorite. Well, maybe not favorite, but like it was like a really good game. I really enjoyed
yeah, I
quite
think
a lot of them
everybody in our
originally.
generation got a good amount of it too. You know,
Yeah,
so I definitely agree with that. So, and the last one was a while ago, right? It was when the movie came out, right?
yeah. That was like the movie that's no. I can't remember the joke. It wasn't even a joke, but like the whole saying it was going. It was like the game that's based off a movie that's based off of a game or something. Something weird like
Yes,
that.
something like that. Yeah.
I think I
So
tried watching the movie. I can't remember if I got to watch it all, but yeah, but putting that aside, the game was totally amazing. Really enjoyed it, although it was like a bit different, like compared to the original, obviously for
right.
various reasons. I still thought it was like a really good installment, and I don't know if I'd want that to go down the path of just doing not an entire reboot of like all the old games. It could be interesting, but I'd like to see like new games picking up for where
Yeah.
some of the last ones left off before that. I can't remember what the last one was in the main series. I know there was
I
what was
think
it?
it was the PS3 one, right?
Yeah,
It
like,
was
it was it Ratchet in Time or something? I don't know if it's
yeah,
Ratchet in Time, but something like that. That's
there
the
was
last one that I picked
one.
up.
Yeah, the last one I picked up was when he had that weird spacesuit.
Yeah, I think that could have been that one.
Yeah,
And it's
that
like, you see, like, there's like
they
another
still
Lombax
use.
in it.
Yeah, I like that game. It was I think that one was really arena based though,
Yeah, 'cause
if
it
I
kinda took
remember.
away even the whole having Clank as like a side character. I was more just focusing on Ratchet. And I know like some of the
Right.
games done that, but I think like
There
that's a good
was
thing as well. There's so much room to kind of do anything with the series to an extent. Like they've done had so many different variations of like gameplay styles that they've just worked from my
right.
like in my opinion anyway.
Uh the last one before that was Into the Nexus?
That was like the 4-player co-op one, I think.
Maybe I've never even seen this. which is an
Yeah,
epilogue to the future saga. Yeah, I don't know what that means.
it might. I don't know.
There's so many of them. I haven't realized how many I've missed, but apparently I've missed a lot.
Oh, there's an insane amount. Like I
Yeah,
just found it so weird.
there's literally a crap load of them. Holy shit. Um,
It's like even when I picked up the PS3 one, like I realized how much I'd missed in between, and there's like such a massive story to be told. It's like it kind of makes me want to go buy them all, but at the same time, it would be nice to get like even just like a remaster on the
right.
PS4 that like of just like a compilation of some of the older ones. But at the same time, if they're going to just remake them similar to how they done Ratchet and Clank, then I'd be more than happy with that.
Right. I think the last one I played was Tools of Destruction, it looks like. And that came out in 2007. So, like,
Uh,
yeah, it's been a long time. I didn't end up picking up the PS4 one because I got busy playing other stuff.
it's
But
it's
yeah,
different,
I've
but it's
always heard
well worth
it's good.
it. Yeah, it's like what they say. It's like a Pixar movie, but you're playing it.
That sounds great. I might have to still go and pick it up at some point. It's probably in the hits by now, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, and
Yeah.
it's well worth picking up, especially if you can get it on a deal, even more so. But even if you're having to pay a little bit extra, I wouldn't say it's
Yeah.
not worth
Be
it.
like 20 bucks worst case full price, and I think I'm okay with that. Like price wise. So
Yeah,
but let's move past Sony and get to the second item of news. I think we've covered everything there. Microsoft has apparently no more plans to release their exclusives on PS4 or Switch. Obviously, this comes with the Ori news as well. Microsoft gave an official statement to GameIndustry.biz saying that the company acknowledges that some of the new studios have commitments to other platforms and that the company will honor them. However, Microsoft also plans to have those studios focus on making Xbox games. So, a little bit of both. He's saying basically, like, we know they already said we'll make them for these platforms, we'll let them do it, but we're not like planning to release a whole bunch of stuff. Um,
I
I
think it's
don't.
nice that they're honoring it. Oh, sorry
Right.
to butt in there. I'll let you
No,
go
no, you're
first.
fine. Just Cuphead was the only one I think where that was not true, you know.
Yeah.
So, but go ahead.
So like, that's just kind of like touching on the whole Insomniac thing as well. Like, I think it's nice that Microsoft are going to honor their commitments to other platforms. I don't know if Sony would definitely do the same. I'd like to
They
think they would.
definitely would not.
Yeah,
They definitely would not. They would definitely be like, "I'm sorry, but we'll just pay you. We'll literally refund you, and
it's
you
just
can
that
buy it
I
on
think
PlayStation."
I have a feeling like Microsoft will inevitably do more stuff on. I'd say the Switch, like without a doubt, because
Right,
there's already stuff on that. Like it's like there's the whole Cuphead thing. There is Minecraft. There's a
right.
few other games. So I was like, I don't see why they would just stop that. Like I can't.
Agreed.
Maybe they won't make like specific games for that platform, but I think they'll make games that are tied into their service in some way, shape or form, no doubt. I kind of
Right.
hope they do.
I think
'Cause
so too. But there's also that big rumor of Game Pass on Switch, like
yeah,
Xbox Live on Switch, which who knows at this point. Um, but Microsoft has also expressed interest in just not being a platform holder or like a product, but also being able to be mobile. You know what I mean? Go pretty much anywhere.
yeah,
Um, so I don't know. I think that because I'm sure they're still making money off of the Switch releases of these games. You know what I mean? I mean,
yeah.
probably
It's like
not as much, but
yeah, I think there's definitely like a lot of opportunity there to release some of their stuff on it, and I think probably Game Pass being the strongest point because
right,
even if I had to chip in, even if I had to pay a bit more to have like Switch, PC, and Xbox as my Game Pass, I'd definitely do it. Just knowing that I
yeah,
could like take the Switch and download all these like a variety of games at any time. Also, even if there was restrictions, I wouldn't mind. But yeah, I think it'd be nice to see them still honor them commitments. Definitely, at the very least, it'd be a shame
right.
if they didn't. Like if they just let them release a couple of games and like, yeah, we're going to hold back on letting you do anything that you've been planning on those platforms because that's a bit crappy.
Yeah, like Outer Worlds, obviously, like they could have tried to pull Outer Worlds, but I think Outer Worlds is owned by 505's publishing that or Deep Sea of I can't remember who's publishing it. Either way, it's not Microsoft that's publishing it, but I think they're trying to, from what I've heard, rumor wise, they're trying to acquire the IP for that because they really want the IP for Outer Worlds.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember. like that's coming on the Switch as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's coming to
Yeah,
Switch, PS4, and Xbox One this year. So
so good. I don't know. It'd be fine if they got the IP, but at the same time, it's nice it's coming on other platforms and not just one.
right.
It's like and it's slightly off topic, but it's like the whole Call of Duty topic. I was speaking to my friend about it, and
Mhm.
supposedly they were trying to scrap the whole console exclusivity with not necessarily the game, but in general in regards to like certain content being released early based on your
Oh, okay.
platform. And I think that stuff just needs to stop. Like it's so annoying when like
Yeah, it
for
is.
example the beta or that is only available on the PS4 just now. And it's like why?
Yeah, for what, Call of
But
Duty?
yeah, and it's like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
thing
yeah.
that's so annoying.
It
It's like fair
is.
enough if it's their own game, like obviously do whatever you want, but when it's on all the other platforms, I think it's just a pain in the ass when they start doing this stuff. I
Yeah.
know why they do it, but sometimes I don't think it benefits them in doing it this way. So I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
that they said they were going to scrap that type of approach, and Sony have pushed to keep it. It's just
Yeah, Sony's pushed to keep it because they invested all that money in Activision, honestly. Like, that's to me, that appears to be what happened, is that they were
yeah,
like, "Alright, we know your deal with Xbox is coming up. We'll pay you way more to come to PlayStation." You know how Activision is.
mhm,
So, they just see money signs. So, um, but I think that's a smart move on I hate it too, but I think when it comes to the Call of Duty thing specifically, it's how do I describe this? Because you see it with the sports games too. The sports games are tied with PlayStation now too. You know, like that's
yeah,
like how they kind of push them now. It's definitely more of the like casual people who buy like 3 games a year and they just really buy like Call of Duty and Madden and FIFA or whatever, Um,
yeah.
so like that's the platform PlayStation kind of has become, and that's what they wanted. They wanted to steal that from Microsoft because that's where you make the most money. Um,
It's such a shame that it happens that way, but
Yeah, it is, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, not really anything we can do about it. We could just report on it and complain about it. So,
yeah,
uh, real quick, Private Division is the company that is publishing Outer Worlds, and it is owned by Take Two.
it rings a bell.
Yeah. So it says here from the Wikipedia, it says it's the brainchild of Take Two Interactives and Michael Warros. The subsidiary was founded by Warros and Alan Murray and officially announced on December 14th, 2017. So it's not even an old publisher. It's not even 2 years. They published Ancestors and Kerbal Space Program. So
Okay,
clearly they know what they're doing. They're only publishing decent games. So,
yeah,
uh, anyways, to get back on topic, yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Microsoft does what I don't really blame them either if they're just like, no, we want everything to be on Xbox and PC. Like, I'm fine with that ultimately, but at the same point, I wish it was one of those things where it's like, okay, I could just buy this piece of hardware to run my games, and I could just play whatever game I want on it with whoever I want.
yeah.
But
That'd be ideal.
but apparently, I should just buy a PC then. So
That's what I was about to say. It's like you can hear the PC fanboys right now screaming.
yeah, I could hear them screaming, "Join the PC race!" Yeah, all right. Y'all can't even
Even though
figure out which store you want to buy your games from.
I know the first world problems, am I right?
For
But
real, first world problems. Holy
like,
shit.
to wrap up on that point, I guess, and to move on to the next story, there's tensions between Respawn and Apex Legends community. Following the $170 axe controversy, Respawn have apologized and plans to do better, quote unquote, with future events. The developer took to Reddit to discuss with fans and was met with criticism and harassment, which I can't say I'm entirely shocked by, but obviously there's an extent to what harassment I wouldn't say is justifiable. There's a lot of it which is just totally bang out of order, but at the same time, it's like what did they expect with what happened? But going on from that whole harassment and criticism they've been faced with, the developers actually lashed back against the community, which caused even more controversy. Which it can be interesting to see that stuff happen, but at the same time, it can be kind of disappointing when you can see like how badly they react on as we get around how badly the developers can react to certain criticism.
Mhm.
And it's like surely you would think that the position that they're in, they would just rise above it and like not necessarily ignore it, but not stoop to the level of the people that are giving in their harassment because it just looks bad for them, no matter what they do. In my opinion, it's like even if
Right.
there's not like like some of it can be justifiable, but at the same time, like even if they're probably right in saying like, "Oh, this guy's being an asshole," as soon as like the community see that, then they just ramp it up to 100 and instantly crash down even harder. So it's like
Right.
they can't win, and sometimes you're better just to ignore it. But
Right.
to touch back on that in a second, moving on to the final point on this story, the CEO of Vince Sampella took to Twitter to clarify that he believes Respawn could communicate better, but he will stand behind his team when fighting back against harassment and death threats. And that's one thing that I can respect. It's nice to see like they're not just saying, "Yeah, our developers are wrong," blah blah. But a slap on the wrist and all that. At least he's saying he stands by his team for what he feels is right.
Right.
And as long as it's like I said, as long as they're not stooping to the same level and like kind of not name calling, but like the same type of like back and forth, that's a good
Right.
thing. If they can handle it professionally and shutting these people down, that's even better. But yeah, it's nice to see that they're not just like cowering into a corner and taking it, so to speak. But at the same time, I think the whole pricing thing in general was pretty shady, in my
Right.
opinion. Like, what was your thoughts on the amount of money you would have to spend to be able to access all of these items,
Right.
pretty much?
We discussed it a bit last week. The short version is that like I get that basically how I came down to it was is if they had been like, okay, here it's $40 for this event cosmetic pack. You know what I mean? And here's all the cosmetics, the X is included, all this cool stuff, whatever, 40
Hmm.
bucks. And then if you just want all the cosmetics for the event, it's like 30 bucks. I think more people would have accepted that. And
Yeah,
I still would have thought it's kind of shady and expensive, but at least like, okay, I could just pay 40 bucks and be done with it. But clearly the reason why they do it this way is they can make way more money. Like obviously that's why they do it, you know. Um
it's
and I
just so
just thought it was
disappointing.
shitty. Yeah. I thought it was shitty.
Yeah, it's like fair enough. Like, it's a free to play game, but I think there has to be a limit on like what microtransactions are technically defined as. Like, I know there's a lot
Yeah.
more to say on that topic, but at the same time, it's like I think like there's so many people in like the younger audience, which is also who these guys target to an extent,
Yeah, for sure.
that will just lap this stuff up and rack up bills on their parents' cards. Like, like my
Right.
little brother done that supposing not long ago and with Fortnite, and that was £100, then it was £150, and it's just stuff like that. It's like,
That's so much, yeah.
yeah, it's like some people won't buy into it, but it's like I think it's the way to do it as well. Like if there's supposedly like splitting it into small chunks of money, and but
Right.
overall you're spending 170 at the end to get the item that you need. Because I'm pretty sure that was the outcome, wasn't it? Like you'd have
Yeah.
to buy all these
You'd have to
items to be
buy
able to
like
get it.
what was it? It was like you had to buy like 22 loot boxes or something like that before you could even buy the heirloom set. And then the heirloom set cost another like 30 bucks. I forget
Yes,
what
yes.
the British equivalent of it was, but it was like upwards of like uh, I'd have to look at the script, but it was pushing close to like 200, I think.
Yeah, like, that's just
Like
mental, isn't it?
it was,
Like,
yeah, it was like insane. And I was like, bro, I could literally buy like 5 games.
yeah,
like
exactly. It's like
like for the
honestly,
price of this axe.
I seen like a lot of people doing videos online, and one thing that kind of, well, I wouldn't say it amazed me, it shocked me, is like, I wouldn't say this is like the first time this has ever happened either, because like some, like, even with Grand Theft Auto, I'm pretty sure you can buy coin packs for online currency,
Right.
and it's like £100, and
Yeah,
it's
it's like
like,
absurd.
yeah, it's like, so why are people shocked that people are still doing this? People do it because people are obviously not stupid, but I guess that's the nicest way to put it. Like they're gullible enough to fall prey to these things because
Yeah.
well, I don't know why. It's the same as adding a microtransaction. Makes things quicker, makes your life a little bit easier, although it's painful on your wallet. And people
Right.
do just fall prey to it. And if there wasn't a demand for it, then they wouldn't do it. So unfortunately,
Right.
I don't see it changing. Yeah, it's the whole Apex thing's so disappointing.
It really is, especially because their competitor sells items to you up front. Like Fortnite makes way more money than Apex does, like by an absurd amount. And they just sell you it. You just buy it. Like, don't get me wrong, it's expensive. It's ridiculously expensive. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Fortnite skins, but they're like the top tier like literally one skin could cost you 20 bucks. Like, it's absurdly expensive. But if you really want that skin, it's 20 bucks, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
It's just two ways to look at it. 'Cause, like, so you're saying there is people out there who will never really buy skins, and once in a blue moon, they'll probably be like, all right, 20 quid is only 20 quid, I'll buy it. And then there's probably people that are buying every single £20 skin when they've got that type of cash just sitting there.
right,
And it's
right.
just, it's mental. It's like similar to, what was the game? Crash Bandicoot. There's been
Oh
Kind of a
yeah,
bit of controversy on
with the
that.
carts. Yeah, we talked about that a bit too with the big issue there was here. I don't know how much about Peg with Peggy, right? That's what you guys have.
Yeah,
Um, with the ESA, they added a little label that says in-game purchases on it, but because Activision patched it in afterwards, the label still doesn't say in-game purchases on it. They updated like the digital label in the stores, but they can't update the physical one like on the package, you know.
yeah.
So that's
So,
really like what it came down to is people being like, this is really like shitty, especially because the ESA's whole job and the SRB is to watch your ass. Like it's just to protect you. Like so
yeah, I think that's like that was pretty dodgy. But and even ignoring that, like looking at the cost of some of the items,
they're
so
absurdly
it's like
high too.
yeah, like just raising the price of them just as the whole
Yep.
patches got put in place and that. And I'm sure I was watching a video on it from a YouTuber, and I'm pretty sure he was saying that like to get one of these basic packs, which pretty much give you nothing, it was almost like a third or a quarter of the price of the full game, if not more.
Yeah, the full price was $60, I think, for the game. And that's the thing that like makes me mad with these is like that store in particular literally mimics the Fortnite store. And the major difference is that um Fortnite is free. So,
Yeah.
versus I already paid $60 for this. And then Fortnite also has that season pass thing that's like $10. That's like reasonably priced. And you get a
Mhm.
bunch of cool stuff with it. And then if you really want, you can buy this stuff that's expensive. Whereas with that, it's just like, okay, you paid us money. Now pay us more money if you want more stuff. Like it comes
Yeah,
across as overly greedy, honestly. But
it
I
is
wanted
pretty,
to
pretty
just
hectic.
hit on the sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to talk about the backlash just real quick because it was one point I wanted to make and then we can bounce right back to that. Is that like I totally get them being frustrated, but also like it's a professional thing. You have to try to come across as professional as a business.
Of
But
course.
at the same point, if anybody came at you guys that way and you told them to fuck off, I'd be like, you should fuck off. You know what I mean? Like that's how I would feel about it. Like if you guys, if somebody because we had one person ever come in and say some really like nasty stuff about a buddy of ours that we used to work with named Jordan. Or yeah, we had another buddy that came in and his name was Jordan. And
Jordan one.
yeah, and he just like they said some like horribly nasty shit about him. And I was like, dude, that's totally not cool. Like, you gotta fuck off with this shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm such an idiot. He's gonna be mad at me. His name is Justin, not Jordan. I'm an idiot. Like, I literally had a brain fart because I was like, I know his name starts with a J, and I know his name, and I'm like, I'm literally having a brain fart. I'm such an asshole. Anyways,
Yeah, Jordan on the brain is totally fine. Happens to everyone.
it's all of the J's. We got Jordan, we got Jason, and then I got my buddy Justin. Anyways, yeah, they said some nasty stuff about him, and I just straight blocked them. Like I just blocked them
Nice.
from the channel. So like whatever. I totally get it, but at the same point, you have to be professional, you know.
Yeah,
So
it's like, and what do they expect as well? It's like with everything
yeah,
on the
Reddit
internet,
is garbage.
yeah, you've got to
So
be willing to take some of this stuff and just turn a blind eye to it to an extent. It's like you can't let it eat you up because then
yeah,
as soon as you start biting back, then they've got even more ammunition to throw against you, and it just
right.
makes it
Don't
worse.
don't give anybody any bullets to shoot you with, honestly.
Exactly.
So I think I'm good on this. Do you have anything else you want to say about it though?
Don't think so. The only other thing I was going to lightly touch on was the whole Gears of War 5 with how they're kind of pushing more into doing cosmetic skin stuff
Yeah,
on Gears, and that's just something that I know I'm holding on to the past of Gears of War, well, the original Gears of War
right.
trilogy, but it just seems like they're pushing down this path, like just adding crap that did not need to be in the game. Like
I
the
agree with you
Halo skins were pretty
for
cool, like
sure.
having the Halo Reach skins. That's a nice little nod to other games in the in the
Uh,
franchise in the like well
ecosystem, yeah.
within Xbox, yeah. But then like they're adding stuff based on like random brands, and it's like why? Like nobody cares for this stuff, so why are you pushing it?
Brand deals. Got to
Yeah,
make
it's
that
like
money.
yeah, it's like this is Gears of War. We don't want to see someone wearing a cool hoodie.
Right.
It's meant to be like a gory game about ripping like like monsters or aliens to shreds and stuff, not like
Right.
putting on your cool blue and white hoodie and fucking chainsawing people. Yeah,
Right.
I don't know. It just rubbed me up the wrong way.
Let me
And I
just
just
get that cool ninja sponsored gear in Gears of War 5. That'll be great.
oh, oh man, see if that happens, I'll probably
I'll lose it.
just never look back. Yeah. That's the next thing. Yeah, you can like, has that even happened on any of our games yet? Because I'm surprised it hasn't. If it
With the
happened,
streamers? No, it
yeah,
hasn't yet. There was one instance where somebody, got a there was a new Mortal Kombat skin for Sub-Zero. Did you see that?
I think it is. Like,
Yeah.
just I've seen the trailer for it today. Actually, I'm pretty sure, and all I could see was people saying, "I was looking forward to this game," or "I like this game," but I'm pretty much backing off now because of how badly acted this is and how bad the voiceover is done for the character. Was
Right.
it?
Basically, they put a new skin in of whoever this guy is. I think he's like a fan or he's like a streamer. I don't know. He's somebody in the ecosystem of Mortal Kombat who's like popular, right?
Mhm.
Um, and they had him voice act his own skin, but he's not a voice actor, so he just sounds like shit, basically. Like,
Yeah, even at
so
the glance of that trailer, you could see that, and it's just like, oh
yeah,
my god.
they shouldn't have done that. They should have just put the regular voice actor voice over top of it. But maybe there was something with his license or whatever that they couldn't do that with. Who knows? You know?
See, if they start doing this for more streamers, it's gonna be so painful. Like, some of it could
Right.
maybe be cool to obviously, like, younger audience, but, like, imagine, like, Fortnite have a ninja skin, like you're saying. Like, I
Right.
just the people would buy that stuff, and
They
I
would,
bet you,
yeah.
like, it wouldn't even be supporting the actual streamer, it'd just be supporting the company.
Right. Because I don't think Marshmello made any money off of his thing with Fortnite, and I don't think Keanu
Seriously.
Reeves did either. I assume on the back end they did. You know what I mean? I'm sure like
Mhm.
Epic paid them a couple hundred or a couple thousand or whatever,
Yeah,
But how much did they make? Probably a crap load, So I
exactly. It's like, it benefits them, but it benefits nobody else, considering the amount of controversy they've already had with, like,
Right.
even when I was going down to, like, the dance moves and people were like, "Yeah, you didn't pay for the right to use that." It's like, "Oh."
Right. Yeah, the dance moves things is one of those things where it's like it's gray area. Like
Yeah.
I feel like you should be able to trademark dance moves personally. You legally can't in the US. It's considered a different form of artistic expression, but I think that's stupid personally. It's obviously a part of somebody's brand or whatever. So I've beaten that one pretty much to death too. We unfortunately we haven't had any updates to those cases in a while. There was one that got hit pretty hard with the Carlton stuff. I don't know
Yeah.
if you're familiar with that show. I don't know if that made it
Yeah, I
overseas.
remember seeing the kinda
The Fresh
controversy
Prince.
coming from that, yeah. Like, the whole
Okay.
dance with that.
Yeah, basically, there's a show here back in the day called The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And there was a character named Carlton, and he had a very specific dance. Like it was known as the Carlton, right? And so they put that dance in Fortnite, and people were like, "Oh, this is really cool," except for him. He was not pleased. So he sued them. And basically the same thing came down from the US trademark office or whatever of like, look, we understand that this is like an identifiable thing for your character or whatever, but you can't trademark it. Like, you can't. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's kinda
Like,
gutting for them.
yeah, they pretty much gutted those cases, which sucks because I feel like they should be entitled to a compensation in one way, shape, or form. I don't feel like maybe they should earn all of the money that Epic like earned from it, but I feel like they should still get a chunk of it.
Yeah, it is one of them weird, like you said, it's definitely a gray area. Because, like, I agree with you as well, it's like, there should be a limit to it. It's like, especially, like, if the TV, for example, that TV show, like, it was well known, the Carlton dance, like, just through that show, and a lot of people would even, like, be able to distinguish that show just based on that dance, and they'd
Right.
probably use it on various other things, even, like, referencing it elsewhere.
Right.
So it's I don't know the point I'm trying to make, but it's like, I agree with you. Like, you should be able to trademark it because they can still make money. It's like, for example, when it goes into Fortnite, and then in some cases the younger generation will just associate it with Fortnite, and it almost loses its historic time with something
Right.
else.
Right. It
So it's even
loses its
stuff like that.
identity. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, even like the
Um.
backpack, as they call it, the backpack kid dance, like the
Yeah.
floss and all that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Or whatever it was. Yeah.
yeah, like taking it from someone else, and then it almost loses that, like you're saying, the identity that it had, and it just becomes something to do with Fortnite. And it's just crazy.
Right. Uh, I think it's okay. There was one that won because it was like, or it got put in because it was like a kid who was like a super fan, and they sent it in or whatever. And they had like a whole contest for it, and one got in because he won, but he didn't. I don't think he got compensated for it. I think they just put his dance in the game or whatever.
Hmm.
And I'm like, dude, you're making like hand over fist. You're making more money now than you did with Gears. Like, just
Yeah,
you could pay out a couple thousand here and there and be just fine. So, but who am I? who am I to tell them what to do, I guess. So, but I think we've beaten this horse pretty good and also gotten off track by a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll reel it back in and we'll finish up here with the last piece of news. Uh, so, pretty par for the course here in the States. Contractors at Microsoft may have listened to inadvertently recorded audio from Xbox One owners. I don't know if your country has any privacy protections, but we do not. We signed those all away about 10 years ago. So, not, no, at
Jeez.
this point, 18 years ago. It's been about 18 years since we've had privacy rights. So, those are gone. Uh, the report from Vice Motherboard states that contractors have listened through tons of audio from Xbox One users who may have accidentally turned on the camera or the Kinect. Oh, I didn't mean camera, I meant Cortana. Whoops, whatever. Microsoft claimed that the company has been clear on letting users know that voice data was sometimes used by vendors. They also mentioned that the company has updated its privacy policy to be more clear about how the data is used. I thought this would be particularly interesting because of the difference in culture between where you and I live, and also because like the Xbox One is famous for just randomly turning on the voice commands for no apparent reason. Like Chris
Yeah.
refuses to say Xbox. He will not say Xbox, especially if we're recording, because it'll just turn his Connect on, and he
I see.
gets
So
so
you
annoyed.
have one of the older models with Connect
Yeah.
still. Yeah. Okay.
Well, no, he has his X, but he bought the adapter and all that before it got discontinued because he just loves
Okay.
using the Connect. Um, But yeah,
Makes
so his
sense.
Connect goes on all the time, and I have Cortana like an idiot, and Cortana constantly pops up, even though I don't ask for her. Like I'll just be in the middle of talking in party chat, and it'll just pop up out of nowhere. So
So that's like a dodgy top subject, isn't it? Because the way that like the phrase it is, who may have accidentally turned those features on. But like you're saying, it's like how can you distinguish if it's accidentally been turned on or if they've set it just to randomly pop up? And not like I'm not trying to say they're doing it with ill
intentionally or whatever.
intentions.
But
Yeah,
I think I know what you mean, where the sensitivity is set up a little bit higher than it should be.
yeah. Because like that, like honestly, like some of the stuff like people will talk about will just be absolute gibberish or like it could be totally taken the wrong way without the proper context.
Right.
So it's a weird area. It's a weird topic. But it's like I don't know if in the UK there's anything protecting our rights on that stuff. I imagine it's probably a case of that it's in some terms and conditions, and as
Right.
usual, you just hammer through it and don't actually pay attention to what you're
Yeah.
signing. So they probably do have the right to access it, and God forbid they do, because they probably just hear me speaking absolute garbage whenever I'm on
Yeah.
it.
Right.
But
Right.
luckily,
Just
like yeah, I think I don't. I got rid of like my Connect when I got rid of my first Xbox, but when I bought the white Xbox One X, and I think I've got Cortana, but I barely see it pop up, and I don't know if that's due to me or due to something else.
right.
But that's probably a good thing.
It's probably more oriented towards an American accent, I would assume, because like I said, I don't really say Cortana, but if I say certain things that kind of come across with that inflection,
Yeah.
if I even pronounce something in the same way as like Cortana, and I just say like whatever, I don't know. I can't even think of what I say because it's just random shit, just like random phrases I say that like trigger it for whatever reason.
Hmm.
Um, just to be clear, what they're saying was recorded and listened to was those instances when the software pops up. It's not consistently recording you. It's only recording you once you activate it. But because we activate it so frequently by accident, that's what it's referring to. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
guess like because it's not recording party chat, so it's not as bad.
Yeah.
It's only like it might pick up random gibberish from when you've said like, "Hey Cortana, do this."
Right. If you're like, hey Cortana, like whatever, open Netflix, and then it just stays up and you're like, hey, what do you want to make for dinner? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like something like that, you know.
and it just
I
hears the darkness in your life. No, I'm joking.
pretty much like that's always been the concern in America, but we pretty much gave that up a lot, like I said a while ago. We've pretty much lost that fight. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
this way in the UK, but the reason why apps are so popular, especially free apps in the US, is because they literally just collect a shitload of your data and they sell it for a crap load of money. They
That's
just sell
insane.
all of your data. Like, yeah, it's like insane how much money they make. They make like hundreds of thousands of dollars literally just selling your data. There was a story a while ago that we didn't cover, but it was about Activision promoting this use of an app, right? And this app, basically, what it was is the app kept track of like pregnant or periods and like women who were trying to become pregnant. Basically, it
Mhm.
was mostly a fertility app. Um, and in that in the terms of service for that app, they sell the data for that of the women that use it.
That's
Um,
mental.
yeah, it is. So anyway, so it was like a whole thing where they're like, why would you tell your whatever, your employees to download this? It's their data, blah blah blah. Like I totally understand where they're coming from because I wouldn't want because the problem is that they sell the data to advertisers, and then that's when you get all those crappy weird Facebook ads. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's
and the
that's
absolute
why you get
nightmare.
that. Facebook spends an asinine amount of money buying data. They just buy your shit from other people, you know?
I just generally hate the way Facebook does their whole ad thing in general. It's like, see, there's been I remember it was like it was something that was like suggested for you, and it was just something that was definitely in no way ever something that I would ever consider looking at. And it's like, where are you getting this information from? Like, how are you basing this?
Right.
Like, how is your ad determining that this is something I would be interested in? And it's some like I think there was like one time when I'd look into something and then I'd get bombarded with sponsored ads for it for like the next week.
Right.
But then there's
Right.
other times where it's like just something that I've never looked at before in my life, and it's trying to force it down my throat, but it does it in a way that almost encourages you to look at it. Because like, see if I'm scrolling down on Facebook and you've commented on something, and it's like, Mike just liked this and commented on this, and normally it'll
Right.
show your comment is the preview comment before going into that thread
Right,
of
right, right.
comments. Yeah, so it does it like that, but it's a complete stranger. So it's like it almost makes you think it's someone that you know, so you click onto it to look into it.
That's super creepy, yeah.
But then when you click on it, which I've done several times, I'm like,
Yeah.
I
You're like,
don't know
"Who's this?"
anyone here. Yeah, why is it showing me this?
Right. It's funny that you say that because 'cause you're the person I see pop up the most in terms of, like, comments. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
why. It's just, like, you pop up on Facebook when you're always tagging your friends with, like, weird memes and shit, and I'm like, "Why are you always showing me Jordan's tagging other people in memes?" Like, it's just, like, a weird thing.
It is,
So,
it's like sometimes it's funny, but then other time you're like, "Why are you showing me this? Like, what's the need?"
yeah, what's the point? It's
It's
all
just
us a matter of figuring out how they can sell shit to you, basically. Um, but to get back to this point, that's basically the point of the data that Microsoft is selling to vendors is basically they're just trying to figure out if some asshole is using Cortana to be like, hey Cortana, where's the nearest KFC? You know what I mean? like some shit like that, to see if they could target you with ads or sell them to Facebook to sell ads or whatever. It's all just a matter of just like quickly changing hands of information and money. Um,
yeah,
but I mean, I think we've moved past that point because in the US, there's all sorts of stuff of being recorded, and like I said, everybody has our information everywhere. So I think we've pretty much just accepted it at this point, uh, as
yeah,
a
it's
as a
pretty
condition of living in the modern world. So
it's pretty strange. I think I can't remember if I touched on this before. I remember bringing it up recently at some point, but it was like there was a game store in Dundee, which is just like a town that I used to live next to, and
uh-huh.
they had a contract that you would sign when you were taking out your membership card, and nobody read it really ever. Obviously, one
Of
one
course.
person did, and in their contract there was like a joke that basically said by signing it you were selling your soul to them,
Oh my
and it was
god.
just like I know it's just like obviously completely taking the piss and it's a little joke, but it's just so funny how like they could put anything in there and you could just
Yeah, they
totally
really
glance
can.
through it. Yeah, and it's like it's your fault because it says to read it, you don't read it, and then you just sign it anyway. It's
Right.
like you can agree to like giving away all your data without ever knowing that you've done it in the first place. It's just so crazy. And I say that, and I still don't read any of these conditions. I just glance through them.
I try
It's like
so
sweet.
hard, but I just become so bored. like
Well,
like that literally happened to me earlier. I was playing Skyrim and apparently there was an update to ZeniMax's terms of service or something. And because I was looking at the mods, I was trying to look at the mods, and I was like, I don't have time to look at 20 fucking pages of terms of service right now. I just wanted to look at mods for Skyrim, you know?
yeah,
I don't know, like for all I know, they could be like, you promise to never hack ZeniMax headquarters. If you do, you'll go to jail for the rest of your life. And I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't know.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Just dive right into it.
right. I have no idea. So, anyways, the point of the story is you should read the terms of service. I know it's boring, but we really should do it. South Park had a way better bit about it, to be honest. So I will leave you with that. Jordan, please tell the people what you do and where to find you.
Yeah, as some of you will know, for those who are returning listeners, I do game reviews, news, and preview updates over on my site, crispysinger.co.uk. You can also catch me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under the same name. or you can even catch
Mhm.
me on Xbox, PS4, and the likes through that gamer tag if you wish to do so. But yeah, that's my cheeky little plug-in. But as
All right, great.
always, to continue listening to our lovely chats on the Ambassadors of Gaming.
Appreciate that. We pretty much operate as like sister companies now. We just both promote each other's shit. So
Yeah,
they're not one and the same, but they kind of are. So um I always appreciate you being here. Appreciate the work that you do. And yeah, you guys really should go check out some of his stuff when you have the time. It's good stuff over there. So until next time though, I'm Ambassador Michael, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
see you later.
Goodbye.